the moms in the world, let's chat it up. We're talking competitions, uniforms, and all of the above. It's the Cheer Mom, yes, the Cheer Mom podcast. Cheer Mom, yes, the Cheer Mom podcast. Cheer Moms, your podcast is on.
You guys want to hear what I've been struggling with lately? I think it comes along with many other things I have learned. It comes with being a woman in your 40s. Like, things just change, stop working or work differently. And I'm struggling with heartburn. And it's not like a struggle. Like, please don't send me your prescription ideas or your organic whatevers. I'm not looking for your sympathy either. I just need to complain. I get heartburn for literally no reason. I get heartburn not from just eating spicy foods. I've pretty much given up spicy foods because of this. I'm slowly giving up coffee because, among other reasons, it gives me heartburn. I get heartburn from just thinking about getting heartburn. Like, what the heck? And don't tell me to drink milk. I hate milk. Fun fact, I hate milk. I think it tastes disgusting. Just thinking about I hate milk. Apparently that helps with heartburn. Not gonna happen. I'd rather die of heartburn than drink a glass of milk. I am starting to wonder if I'm doomed to a life of bland foods like applesauce and mashed potatoes just to avoid heartburn. No, I just have a little bottle of Tums or antacids basically in every room now. Now I have my car ibuprofen, my car tweezers, and just adding car Tums to the mix. That's not even including my purse ibuprofen and my nightstand ibuprofen. And I'm also getting absent-minded. I went to take ibuprofen this morning because sometimes you just wake up and you know it's going to be one of those days like everything hurts. And I'm like, I'm just going to get ahead of this and take some ibuprofen. But in my brain fog, caffeine-less state, I very nearly took, instead of 3 ibuprofen, I almost took 3 Tylenol PMs. That would have been really bad. It would have been like, bye, Kristen, see you next Thursday. Yeah. Once again, content that has lost me a ton of young people as listeners. Like, yeah, we're bored with this already. Okay, no, seriously, I'm going to talk a little bit today about the worst part of the cheer season and my tips to get through it. So here we go. Do you want to get that high pony looking slick and clean every time? Well, whether it's competition hair, getting that super clean look for your choreography, or even just that cute, trendy low bun for going out with friends, Slick Hair Company is your answer. Slick Hair Company is the founder of the original Slick Stick, and they also provide high-quality hair care, hair accessories, and styling products that will help you to achieve the perfect style and look. I used their wax stick for that middle part low bun look, and it was awesome. I was even able to curl my hair the next day without washing it, and my hair wasn't all greasy and gross. Founded by a female entrepreneur, Slick Hair uses cruelty-free ingredients that smooths all hair types. They hydrate and strengthen your hair. They promote hair growth and leave your hair feeling fresh and not greasy or sticky. Visit slickhaircompany.com/thecheermomblog and use code thecheermomblog for 10% off your entire order. That's slickhaircompany.com/thecheermomblog and use code thecheermomblog for 10% off. Your perfect style awaits with Slick Hair Company. We all know that the cheer season is year-round. It just doesn't stop. But there is a particular part of the season that is very terrible and that I see a pattern every year, year after year, season after season, where kids want to quit at the same time every year. And that is the fall part of the season. So August-ish until the first competition or showcase, usually not until November, maybe even December. Some get that first event in late October, but not many. The second worst part of the season, I think, is April, like leading up to your end of season events, or that March, April, that month or so leading up to your end of season events is a really tough time for different reasons. I think that that's toughest on the parents because everything's coming to a head and there are a ton of extra practices, and I think that it's the time where athletes are most susceptible to injury. That can be a really stressful time. But today I'm going to talk about the worst part of the season, this stretch of time where the excitement of a new team has worn off. You're, for the most part, done with choreography. You've gotten your new practice wear already. The first competition or event feels like years away, and there just isn't a ton to look forward to. And this is the time where you just put your head down and you're doing the work, which can be grueling and monotonous. Not to mention, it's the start of the school year, so kids and adults are getting into a new routine and adjusting to new school routines, new teachers, maybe a new season of school like junior high, high school. You're dealing with the change of season outside. The sun is starting to set sooner. There's just all these kinds of big adjustments that happen in this August, September, October time range. And it all amounts to, I've seen it year after year in even my own kid, where it was like, I don't like cheer anymore. I don't like cheer. And I want to quit. I hear a lot of parents say their kid just in the Facebook groups, like, my kid wants to quit. I think that if your kid really does hate cheerleading, that's a conversation you can have, but not in September or October. Don't let this time of the season fool you. If there's any time to say, let's just wait, it is this time of season. Give them until the first competition or that the first time they do a full out in front of people to really decide if they like cheer or not, if they're really not letting up on the I want to quit. I don't ever think it's a good idea to quit mid-season like that, but especially not in that time between choreography and your first event, because I think they're more likely to regret it. Let that music turn on. Let those lights turn on for the first time. Let them get that rush of performing in front of a stage, and then ask them if they still hate cheer. And I would bet money that 99% of the time they're going to be like, I can stick it out at least through the end of the season. But yeah, it's grueling. It's not shiny. You're running drills, you're running sections, you're not going full out. There's not the anticipation of a big competition this weekend. The honeymoon period of new teammates has worn off, and maybe your teammates are starting to get on your nerves a little bit. I mean, it happens to all of us. How many times have you started a new job or made new friends? You have that honeymoon period, and then people's quirks and personality traits start to show themselves, and we all have nerves, and sometimes people get on them. This is definitely when the bickering starts and you're just in that monotonous part of the season. So how do we combat that? I'm going to give you some tips on kind of how to get through it. You just have to get through it. Stay the course, stay humble, stay positive. I promise that it's just a short season within the season, and the exciting part is right around the corner. But one thing you can do is really try to ramp up the team bondings. Maybe you had a bunch over the summer and the busy schedules and new routines have gotten in the way of planning team bondings. Tip for team reps: I always try to, when I was a team rep, plan team bondings at least once a month all the way through the season at the beginning of your season, so that those dates are on everyone's calendars. And maybe you have to adjust here and there, but you know that there won't be too much time that passes between team bondings, because I think that's really key to keep the team chemistry going and to break up some of this monotony of this part of the year. I have a whole list of team bonding ideas. This would be a great time for a fun photo shoot where everybody gets dressed up. You can do something as simple as circling the kids up after a practice and talking about what they want to do at competitions, like planning out at this competition, we're going to go to this pizza place, or at that competition, what if we all went to XYZ attraction nearby? It might be a good time to come up with a few team rituals or superstitions to do before a competition, like a team prayer or a chant or a themed snack. Get thoughts from the athletes on traditions or rituals that they would like to see happen once competition starts, because then they're looking forward to something and visualizing what their competition season or what their competition events might look like. Some of those things have to form organically on their own. You'll find that athletes will have specific superstitions because they did that thing and then they hit, or they did that thing and then they won, so now they have to do it every time. And that could be as simple as a chest bump with a specific athlete pointing at a specific coach, or as complicated as eating at the same restaurant every competition. I know some athletes that did that. They had to go to Noodles & Co. on competition day every time. Did it work? They had a great season. So you do the math. You be the judge. Another thing that you can do, either as a team bonding or on an individual or stunt group basis with your athlete and a handful of other athletes, is sit down and watch an inspirational video or a TED Talk. That could be something as simple as just sending a link to it in your team group chat, or coaches show it to them at the first 10 minutes of practice to keep them motivated. I know that there are programs that may bring in a speaker right before a competition. Maybe take that to the next level and have that person zoom in or send a video in, encouraging the team to keep their head in the game and inspire them and pump them up for this grueling part of the season. There are a ton of inspirational speeches and TED Talks online, especially from athletes. One of my favorites is RG3's Robert Griffin III's speech when he won the Heisman Trophy. It was beautiful, and it was about family and staying with the family and the hard work that it takes to get to the victory. And who knows, there might be a nugget in one of those that turns into your team mantra. You put that on a t-shirt. Another great way to get through particularly grueling, stressful, hard times is to set short-term goals and rewards. And this could vary greatly depending on the age of the athletes, depending on who's doing it. If the coaches want to be involved, coaches, this could be something that you really have fun with. And I encourage you to not make it merit-based at this point of the season. I know that later in the season, you can have, hit your routine full out 3 times and hit 0, and you get this reward. I would say don't make it merit-based. Maybe it's just, we're going to run this section 5 times, and then Coach Mary is going to tell you her deepest, darkest secret about the most embarrassing thing that happened to her in high school. Or if everyone participates in this drill or this conditioning, Coach Ryan is going to do 100 push-ups at the end of practice. Something small that gives them a little joy and gives them just that extra shot of motivation to get them through the drills that they need to get through, I think could be impactful and beneficial. And I think it could build your relationship with your athletes. It could be as simple as, let's all make a TikTok at the end of practice. If nobody talks during practice and we get through, here's all the things that we have to get through, guys. If we can get through all of these things with 10 minutes to spare at the end of practice, we'll make a TikTok, or Coach Tiffany will do that fun Chicago dance for you. Whatever gets them excited and is going to motivate them. I know coaches that will do like a gift card basket or a candy basket, and if XYZ is completed, then they all get to pick something from the basket. Or with the younger teams, they get goodies or points or something that works toward something that has nothing to do with completing the routine perfectly. It could be like stuffies, or who gets to name whatever mascot they put in the center of the mat. That's what they're doing, by the way. Do you see with the younger teams, most of the time they'll put like a stuffed animal or a doll on the stage. They're marking the center of the mat. I didn't know that until like a month ago. But give them those short-term goals, rewards that don't necessarily have anything to do with accomplishing something. It's just number of reps or not talking, things like that. And parents, you can do this one-on-one with your athlete too. If you have a particular emotional athlete, whether that's crying or being angry or what have you, maybe if they go 3 practices without saying something negative about their teammates or coaches, or 3 practices without crying in practice, there's a reward in that. I'm not saying that there's no crying in cheerleading. I think that when they get in the car, that should be a very safe space to cry and vent and be able to get it all out. But if there's a particular issue that your athlete is struggling with around this time of year, then maybe there's a reward system that you can set up one-on-one with your athlete. That could also look like a dollar jar that saves up for competition souvenirs and gifts and things. So every time you do this, we're going to put $1 in the jar. And every time mom complains, then she puts $1 in the jar. Something like that helps you save toward your big trip to Dallas or Atlanta, or God forbid, buying those insanely huge stuffed ducks. I love you, Willis, but those stuffed ducks are the worst. But maybe you have a picture of something that you want, that your athlete has wanted to buy at competitions in the past, and you put that picture on the dollar jar, and you have incentives to put money in that to save up. Like, look, when we go to this competition, we're going to buy a sweatshirt. We go to that competition, we're going to buy a necklace from the cheer collection. You just got to keep going and keep working so that we can make it to competition season and feel great about it when we get there. Something else you can do, maybe at the very beginning of your season, is have kids record a video about why they love cheer and why they stay in cheer, and show that video to them when they're having a tough time. That's something that you have to think about a little bit in advance. But if you're already here and you don't have a video, have them sit down and write in a journal or write on a piece of paper why they love cheer. Because when it gets hard, they have to recall and rely upon their love of cheerleading to get them through these tough times. So if they're really struggling, this would be a good time to reflect on, okay, why are we here? Why do we love this? What are we working toward beyond a bid or beyond first place or even beyond hitting 0? We want all of those things, but that feels like forever away. So what is going to make the work worth it? What makes today's work worth it? And have them journal about that for 5 or 10 minutes. One of the things that I loved to do this one season, and I did it for a couple of seasons actually, is take a video of the first full out in front of an audience, the first full out of the season. And then when the season gets difficult again in that March, April timeframe, show them that video from the beginning of the season so they can see how far they've come. There's something very powerful about documenting things because our minds can get impulsive and in the moment and forget about our why and our foundation or our progress or how far we have come. And that could be something that you incentivize your athlete with at home is, hey, remember when you were dreaming to be on this team? When all you wanted was to be on this team? Remember that feeling of finally making it and let that carry you through this difficult time. Gratitude is such a powerful force, and you can use it to your advantage in tough times, even in cheerleading, especially in cheerleading. Maybe you recall a special moment with your athlete and remind them of the moments that they love so much in cheer. I can almost guarantee that most of those moments are not happening in this August, September, October timeframe. They're just not. So maybe you have like a code word like world champion or Wednesday or something that triggers the emotions that they feel in those special times of the season that they've told you they've just had an overwhelming, overflowing love of cheerleading. I see a lot of world champion athletes even now that are posting World Champion Wednesday, or maybe they didn't win Worlds, but they went to Worlds and they still have the World Wednesday, even in this quote unquote off time of the season, to remind them of what they're working toward or to remind them of that feeling that they felt on the world's stage, making finals, maybe winning. That's a powerful thing when you can train your brain to go back to that moment and watch that video with your kid, like this feeling, this is what we're chasing, whatever that may be. And then lastly, and this could be another fun team bonding event, is start practicing hair and makeup for competition day. If you have a new uniform that's debuting this season, odds are that you may not have it just yet, but put on last season's uniform and start practicing what your competition day will look like. I know some team reps of tiny, mini, and youth teams that use this as an opportunity to teach the parents how to do competition day hair and makeup, because most of them are new at this. Most of those kids can't do the makeup by themselves, although more and more of them know how to do makeup. It's wild. I'm getting makeup tips and skincare tips from a 7-year-old currently. But it's a fun team bonding, parent bonding event to get everybody together and go over what the look is going to be for competition day. Now, don't hold it against your coaches if they don't know yet. Sometimes they haven't decided on, are we going to do a high pony? Are we going to do braids? It's going to depend on the hair piece and what the final version of the uniform is going to look like. So there may be some wiggle room and flexibility there, but odds are that you're going to have a big smoky kind of eye or glittery eye, and you're going to have to learn how to glue on eyelashes and apply some bold lipstick. So you could even start there so you can be prepared for whatever the coaches ask to be your competition day look. Hang in there, guys. You've got this. It is one of the toughest, most grueling parts of the season, but as they say at NCA, the work is really worth it. In the next episode, I'm going to go through my favorite hair and makeup tips and all my favorite products to help you get that perfect competition day look.